for me, it was a calling into public service. My goal in life was to someday represent my hometown in Washington, D.C. And I had a chance to do that for 12 years. But I can honestly tell you, with a heart filled with gratitude, that as I stand among my fellow Hoosiers, I don't ever remember dreaming that I'd have the chance to be governor of the state that I love. So let me thank you here in our bicentennial year, with more Hoosiers going to work than ever before, and with a state that is the fiscal envy of the country. Thank you for the privilege of serving as you've done for the last 4 years. But if I never could have imagined being governor of the state that I love, I don't know how far away this thought was. That night the call came, Karen was at my side, we prayed all the way through it. We knew what our answer would be if the question was asked. And I'll never forget picking up the phone, 11 o'clock at night at the governor's residence there on Meridian Street, and I heard that familiar voice. And he said, "Mike, it's going to be great." And man, was he right. I mean, it's just been amazing. It's just been an amazing experience for us to be able to travel across this country, to not only tell the story of this campaign, but as my running mate tells me every single day of the week, telling Indiana's story. Being able to say to the American people that we can make America great again. We can have a national government that's as good as our people, because we've done that here in Indiana. It's been the support of all of you that have put us in a position to show that you can balance budgets, have strong budget reserves and surpluses, even after you make record investments in education, in infrastructure, and even in health care. And you can pass the largest state tax cut in Indiana history. We've actually, in the last 4 years, passed more than $3.5 billion in tax relief between now and 2022. And the result speaks for themselves. More Hoosiers going to work than ever before. The unemployment rate in the last 4 years has dropped from over 8% to 4.6% today. The state of Indiana has set the pace and continues to set the pace, and I want to promise you, that's exactly the kind of no-nonsense leadership that Donald Trump is going to bring to the White House with just the same results. So I don't know if Mr. Chairman, we're actually going to cut a ribbon. Are we going to cut that in a second? I'm going to invite him out here to do that. And I want to go easy on you, because even before I arrived, there was enough hot air in this room. But let me, as we prepare to do that, let me challenge you. Let me challenge you as my fellow Hoosiers. Do two things, if I can. Hang on there, Chairman. Yeah, thanks, Susie. Number one, I want you to take a minute, hopefully this weekend, and say a word of prayer. Say a word of prayer for the Hoosiers that were affected by the storms this week. The Lieutenant Governor and I traveled up to Kokomo and other affected communities yesterday, and I have to tell you, to see the results of these powerful storms that passed through those communities, and to see that there was no loss of life, is nothing short of a miracle of God. But remember these families. We're through the response phase. We're in the recovery phase, and remember them in your prayers. But also, if you've got a few dollars on the side, if you can be generous, or as the chairman often does, if you can donate a little bit of food, or if you can donate a little bit of time. And there's a lot of hurting families up to the north and just up to the northeast. And so I encourage you to do what Hoosiers do without being asked. That was the amazing thing yesterday. You know, I arrived in those communities, and just about the only thing you couldn't find was a parking spot. Because there were so many people there, people standing in front yards and helping neighbors and friends, and sometimes helping total strangers. But remember our fellow Hoosiers in your hearts and in your prayers and in your generosity in the days ahead. And the second thing I want to ask you to do is, in the next 73 days and 8 hours, I want you to roll your sleeves up and go to work. I want you to tell somebody, okay? I mean, this campaign, we're seeing national polls, and I think folks are a little bit frustrated. You know, I tell people that the national media and the Democrats don't know quite what to make of my opponent. You know, every time we kind of get up, and they spend more time focusing on what he said in the last 30 minutes than they do focusing on what Hillary Clinton did for the last 30 years. They go after him, and they think they got him this time. They think they have him down. Then they turn on the TV the next morning, and Donald Trump is still standing stronger than ever before and fighting for the American people every day. And he's winning hearts and minds every day. But it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us here in the Hoosier State to make sure the great state of Indiana is first on the board with a decisive victory for our next president. So I want to challenge you. Challenge you to reach out to neighbors and friends at your places of work, your places of worship, outside of CBS, across the backyard fence, and tell them. And tell them that we can have a stronger country. Tell them that we can make America great again. But it's only going to happen if we elect a leader, if we elect a team, and if we elect a new government that has boundless confidence, not in its own capabilities, but boundless confidence in the American people. And that's the kind of president that Donald Trump will be. So if you want a president who will rebuild our military, stand with our soldiers and sailors, who will confront radical Islamic terrorism and destroy it at its source, if you want a president who will cut taxes, grow this economy, squeeze every nickel out of that bloated federal bureaucracy, and repeal Obamacare lock, stock, and barrel, if you want a president who will build a wall, establish strong borders, and enforce the laws of this country for the people of this country, and if you want a president who will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America and upend the status quo in Washington, D.C., then I will say to you what I'm saying all over this country. You need to tell your neighbors and friends, if you want all of those things, we have but one choice in this election. And that man is ready. This Hoosier is ready. This team is ready. This movement is ready. Let's go make sure that Indiana is ready, and we will elect Donald Trump as the next president of the United States of America, and we will make America great again. Thank you very much, and God bless you, Hoosiers. It's wonderful to be home.